The FIA gets exposed after big changes have been revealed, Leclerc explains special Hamilton trait, and Norris has been warned against a new weakness. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Derek Warick's suspension as an FIA steward during the Canadian Grand Prix has sparked significant attention in the world of Formula One. This incident raises questions about the underlying issues within the FIA itself. At the heart of the matter, Warick, a seasoned steward, was removed from his role due to participating in what the FIA deemed an unauthorized media interview. His suspension was confirmed mid-weekend at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, a move that was both unexpected and unusual. The FIA swiftly announced that Enrique Bernoldi would replace him, citing the need to maintain integrity in officiating. So, what led to this suspension? Warick, a 70-year-old veteran steward, had first been named to the steward panel for the Canadian Grand Prix. However, after comments made in an interview, the FIA acted quickly, acknowledging that Warick's remarks were inappropriate for someone in his position, and he subsequently apologized. This wasn't an isolated incident. It follows the recent removal of Johnny Herbert from stewarding duties over similar conflicts between his media work and officiating responsibilities. This situation raises an intriguing question. Why are FIA stewards prohibited from participating in interviews? On the surface, Warick's actions might seem trivial, a minor infraction in the grand scheme of motorsport. However, the FIA's strict guidelines serve to prevent any potential conflicts of interest inherent in stewarding and media obligations. In recent years, prominent figures in F1 like Herbert and others have received payouts for delivering opinions in media interviews, complicating the traditional relationship between stewards and the press. These interviews can come with lucrative offers, making it tempting for stewards to balance both roles. But herein lies the problem. How can a steward make unbiased decisions when they're also talking publicly about their opinions on drivers and events? The potential for personal bias to influence officiating decisions is significant, leading to confusion and controversy within the sport. FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem articulated the conflict of interest dilemma clearly. He suggested that being a steward, essentially a referee, while simultaneously working as a journalist, is untenable. He emphasized that a steward's judgment must remain impartial, devoid of personal preferences that come from external media engagements. What is particularly telling is that Warick's unauthorized comments came after an interview by a press agency. The FIA does not outright ban interviews. However, there are strict regulations about what stewards can discuss. They may talk about stewarding processes, but must remain neutral about ongoing competitions, drivers, or specific incidents. With both Warick and Herbert's cases in mind, it appears the FIA is taking a firm stance to maintain the integrity of its stewards. This raises further questions about how the governing body will navigate the evolving media landscape and ensure that its officials remain above reproach. In conclusion, Derek Warick's suspension is a wake-up call for the FIA. It underscores a critical need to address and formalize the relationship between stewards and the media. As Formula One continues to grow, so too must the regulations that govern it, ensuring that the sport remains fair and transparent for everyone involved. Verstappen's recent late race incident with George Russell in Barcelona has ignited conversations about penalties in Formula One. Commentator Derek Warick believes that for drivers like Max, accustomed to winning, accepting a penalty can be particularly challenging. He stated, "Should he have done what he did in Turn 5 with George Russell? Absolutely not. Indeed, Verstappen received a penalty for the incident." Warick recalls Sebastian Vettel's experience in 2017, where a deliberate collision with Lewis Hamilton resulted in a 10-second drive-through penalty. He noted that while Verstappen's actions were aggressive, they didn't appear to be premeditated. Yet, he agrees with the FIA's decision on the penalty, arguing, "It is absolutely wrong. The FIA was right to give him a penalty." On the financial side, discussions have arisen around the need to properly compensate race stewards. Warick supported the idea that stewards should receive fair remuneration to avoid conflicts of interest and maintain integrity. As it stands, the guidelines haven't significantly changed, leading to concerns about the voluntary nature of stewarding positions. McLaren's CEO, Zak Brown, has advocated for a shift, calling for full-time, paid stewards to enhance decision-making reliability in this multi-billion-dollar sport. As tensions rise over penalties, it's vital for the FIA to ensure transparency and fairness in their processes. This conversation is one small piece of the larger puzzle that keeps Formula One thrilling and competitive. In the world of Formula One racing, the battle for supremacy is relentless, and strategies on the track are just as critical as the drivers themselves. Recently, Charles Leclerc highlighted a key area where Lewis Hamilton seems to hold an advantage over his former teammates, a skill that distinguishes the seven-time world champion as a leading competitor: braking. Leclerc, who's no stranger to impressive driving, noted that he has always held the title of Ferrari's late breaker. However, after racing alongside Hamilton, he admitted that the British driver is a step ahead of past colleagues like Sebastian Vettel and Carlos Sainz when it comes to hitting the brakes. This acknowledgement sheds light on Hamilton's unique driving style that has garnered him immense success in the sport. As the two drivers team up in the 2025 season, Leclerc has had the opportunity to compete against Hamilton in a series of races. To date, he has achieved all three of Ferrari's podium finishes, giving him an edge with 104 points compared to Hamilton's 79. Nevertheless, Hamilton clinched the team's only victory this season by winning the China Sprint, showing that he still possesses the skills to triumph in crucial moments. When asked to evaluate his experience alongside Hamilton ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix, Leclerc emphasized the profound impression Hamilton's braking technique had made on him. "I expected many things from Lewis," Leclerc shared, highlighting the anticipation that comes with racing alongside a legend. Yet, it was his braking capabilities that caught Leclerc off guard. "I think how late he brakes is very impressive," he elaborated. Historically, Leclerc prided himself on being the late breaker among his peers, but facing Hamilton revealed a higher level of performance. Lewis is a step ahead, even more so in that direction, so that surprised me. But Hamilton's skill set doesn't end there. Leclerc pointed out that the most significant surprise came not just from Hamilton's driving techniques, but from his discipline. The organizational prowess Hamilton demonstrates both on and off the track has earned Leclerc's respect. From outside, I remember seeing him managing so many different things. But then you look at how organized everything is, and you can understand that he's just 200% focused on racing, Leclerc remarked. Hamilton's methodical approach allows him to juggle various projects without compromising his focus on racing. Leclerc recognizes the importance of maintaining that same level of dedication, stating, "For all of us, the most important is that we stay focused on racing." It's clear that Leclerc sees Hamilton not only as a competitor, but also as a role model for managing the complexities of an F1 career. As the season progresses, fans eagerly await how this dynamic between Hamilton and Leclerc will unfold on the racetrack. With each lap, the competition intensifies, and both drivers are ready to prove their skills in the ongoing saga of Formula One history. The admiration and respect that Leclerc holds for Hamilton may just fuel their rivalry in this thrilling sport where every fraction of a second counts. Stay tuned for more exciting updates as the 2025 season continues to develop. Lewis Hamilton is not just a name in Formula One, he's also making strides in fashion and film and actively supports charitable causes that promote diversity and opportunities for underrepresented communities. His commitment extends beyond the racetrack, embracing a new life with Ferrari. Hamilton shares that being part of Ferrari has been an incredible experience. He's enjoying the culture and beauty of Italy, although he's still learning the language. "The more I see of Italy, the more I fall in love with the place," he exclaimed, captivated by its rich architecture and romantic atmosphere. In addition to adjusting to life in Italy, Hamilton is excited about his business ventures outside of racing. He's launched a new collection with Dior, a project he's incredibly proud of, and he has several brand partnerships that are thriving. Hamilton states, "Everything outside of the racetrack is going amazing," which gives him the motivation to strive for success on the track as well. However, it hasn't been all smooth sailing. Hamilton currently sits in P6 in the Drivers' Championship standings. He openly admitted, "I want to be at the front, obviously," and acknowledged the need for more performance from his car. With development underway for next year's model, he's facing challenges while adapting to a car that's been developed without his direct influence. Moreover, both he and Fred Vasseur are under scrutiny due to Ferrari's slow season start, highlighting the pressure they are under to turn things around. Despite the challenges, Hamilton embraces them, showing his resolve to improve both personally and as a team. As Hamilton continues to navigate his multifaceted career, it's clear he remains dedicated to both his passions on and off the track. Lando Norris has been a formidable presence in Formula One, having raced for McLaren since his debut in 2019. However, as the F1 2025 season unfolds, a recurring issue has emerged, particularly when it comes to qualifying. Former McLaren driver Juan Pablo Montoya has voiced his concerns, noting that Norris has a tendency to struggle in Q3, an aspect that could jeopardize his performance and the team's success. Recently, at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, the tension escalated as Norris collided with his teammate Oscar Piastri, an incident that raised eyebrows. Taking full responsibility, Norris found himself starting from P7 after a mistake during his first push lap. His chance to recover was cut short when he clipped the rear tire of Piastri during a battle for position, ultimately leading to a crash against the pit wall and a safety car that disrupted the race. Montoya highlighted that while Norris has demonstrated more speed than Piastri throughout the rest of the session, Q3 appears to provoke a mental block for him. With a current head-to-head qualifying record showing Piastri leading 6-3, it underscores a troubling trend for Norris. Montoya theorizes that when Norris reaches that pivotal moment in the qualifying session, something shifts in his mentality, leading to errors he could otherwise avoid. "It's hard to watch because he has the speed," Montoya remarked. He suggested that Norris's emotional investment in his performance plays a role in his Q3 struggles. While he tends to execute well during the earlier parts of the weekend, that focus seems to falter when it matters most. He becomes overly concerned about making a mistake, which can ironically lead to the exact outcome he fears. This emotional intensity doesn't just affect his qualifying, but it also spilled into race day. Montoya noted that Norris was unnecessarily impatient during his collision with Piastri. Instead of forcing his teammate into making a mistake, Norris ended up making an error himself, highlighting that strategic patience is crucial in racing dynamics. Looking forward in the season, the stakes are higher than ever for both McLaren drivers. With the Constructors' Championship seemingly within their grasp, the pressure to perform and avoid mishaps is mounting, especially considering the fierce competition posed by drivers like Max Verstappen, who sits just 43 points behind in the Drivers' Championship race. In this high-speed environment, mastering the mental game is just as important as having the physical skills. Norris must find a way to harness his emotions and adapt his strategy, particularly in those critical moments of qualifying. As he continues to develop as a driver, learning to switch off that mental switch in Q3 may determine his success and that of the team in this competitive season. As viewers of the sport, we'll be watching closely to see how Norris adapts and if he can overcome this key weakness, which Montoya and others believe is becoming increasingly problematic. For Norris, the time to act is now if he hopes to turn the tide in his favor. As McLaren's team principal, Andrea Stella addressed the media after the Canadian Grand Prix, he emphasized the importance of allowing drivers the freedom to race. He stated, "Being free to race is a value we want to respect," highlighting that this principle is crucial to maintaining the spirit of competition. Stella expressed concern that over-controlling from the pit wall could diminish the excitement of racing. "We want to give Lando and Oscar opportunities to prove themselves based on merit and performance," he said. His vision is clear. The drivers should earn their positions in the standings through their skills, not by team orders dictating points. However, Stella acknowledged the challenges of this approach. Avoiding contact between the two McLarens requires not only strategy, but also careful execution from the drivers. He remarked, "If we say no contact, we must ensure there are clear margins, especially in DRS situations, where misjudgment can occur." Looking ahead, the team prepares for the Austrian Grand Prix after a break, hoping for a more strategic and cautious approach from both drivers. In recent headlines, Toto Wolff has weighed in, suggesting how McLaren can keep their star drivers on track amid their title fight. The recent collision between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris in Canada serves as a reminder of the high stakes and tensions involved. Lando Norris himself reflected on the incident, admitting he regrets breaking what is essentially rule number 1 at McLaren. As the season progresses, all eyes will be on how these dynamics play out on the track. Stay tuned as we continue to follow the unfolding drama of McLaren's title hopes and the developments surrounding F1 in 2025. Flavio Briatore, the executive from Alpine, has recently taken to the media to defend Franco Colapinto against what he describes as bullshit, sensationalized by the press in Argentina. Accusations and rumors about Colapinto's relationship with Alpine have circulated, and Briatore has made it clear that he finds this talk unwarranted. Briatore passionately stated that the engineers at Alpine are very happy with Colapinto's performance, especially following his impressive display at the Canadian Grand Prix. This marked a significant achievement for the young driver during his rookie season in Formula One. Colapinto's journey in F1 began when he stepped up from his role as an Alpine reserve driver to a race driver ahead of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. His initial contract spanned 5 races, and with the Austrian Grand Prix on the horizon, this contract is nearing its conclusion. As the team evaluates his performance, all eyes will be on him, especially with the British GP coming up soon. However, speculation around Colapinto has been rampant. Much like his predecessor Doohan, he's yet to score points in the current season, stoking talk about what should come next for the team. In response to these rumors, Briatore commented directly to the Argentine media outlet La Voz del Interior. He branded the whispers surrounding Colapinto as mere nonsense, asserting, "I don't think there are any rumors. The team is fine with Franco, and that's it." Briatore continued, emphasizing the importance of supporting the young driver. He attributed the negativity to the press and urged them to take responsibility for the undue pressure they place on him. He advised, "You have to support Franco, not pressure him, if you are professionals and want to take care of him." Addressing how social media plays a role in spreading misinformation, he expressed frustration, stating that social networks are full of idiots. His message was clear: for those who have a Formula One driver, there should be a concerted effort to protect and nurture that talent, especially considering how challenging this transition can be for young athletes like Colapinto. As Briatore elaborated on the strides made to help Colapinto find his footing, he shared insights from the Canadian Grand Prix, where Colapinto managed to out-qualify his teammate Pierre Gasly, ultimately finishing the race in a commendable P13. These developments serve as a silver lining amid a season filled with challenges for the young driver. In sum, Briatore's remarks highlight the need for a supportive environment as Colapinto navigates his early career in Formula One, rather than one clouded by media negativity. As the racing season continues, all eyes will remain on him as he works on building confidence and securing his future with Alpine. The engineers have been hard at work, spending countless hours in the simulator refining every detail of the Alpine car. Flavio Briatore revealed that significant changes were made, especially in regard to the seat and brake pedals, all leading to promising results. "Today, finally, we have the results," he expressed. As we dive into the latest head-to-head standings for F1 2025, it's clear that the competition is heating up. In Canada, while Colapinto started strong, grid penalties for Isaac Hadjar and Yuki Tsunoda allowed him to secure P10. Despite feeling he had the edge over his teammate Gasly, Colapinto ended the race in disappointment, dropping 3 positions by the checkered flag. The race concluded behind the safety car after an incident between Lando Norris and his McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri. Colapinto shared, "It was a tough day out there. We had the potential for scoring points, but our strategy didn't play out as expected. Sitting in dirty air with limited power made it particularly tricky for him to overtake. We thought we were going to be fighting for points," he reflected, realizing that running behind slower cars hindered their chances of success. However, he also acknowledged a growing understanding of the Alpine A525 and expressed optimism about the adjustments made to the car, stating, "I felt more comfortable. It's a good start to the progression." In other news, the pressure is mounting for Colapinto as he continues his quest for points with Alpine. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly has raised eyebrows with Briatore's bold prediction, claiming Alpine could be title contenders by 2027. Racing fans will want to stay tuned as the situation unfolds.